Well, good morning. What's up? No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, it's morning where I am in this residence that I'm underneath / living in. It's also morning, so the sun is coming up. How happy! I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Okay. Stop saying you're kidding when you're serious, cause yeah. One thing, I have a pimple in my eyebrow. Cute. Yeah, and it hurts like rat's ass, so he's here just for a little bit. He's staying for like a week, and then he's packing his shit and then moving on. But anyway, good morning. Even though I already said it, I'm saying it again. Good morning. I am here with you today, and I haven't done a talking video in a little bit, so I figured I might as well rip something out of thin air and talk to you guys about a little something. So I did do my homework. Okay, I did good. I wrote down what I want to talk about. Oh shit. Today, it's gonna be serious, so I'm gonna have to tone myself down because I'm a little bit hyped up right now. It's the butt crack of dawn. I think dawn is at nighttime, so. My topic, it's nothing like depressing, so don't worry, okay? There's no worrying over here. But it's about attachments and / expectations. But mostly I want to talk to you guys about attachments. And we all know what I'm talking about. So, if you see me looking down, no, I'm not reading a teleprompter. I'm reading my notes, which is basically the same thing, it's just non-electrified, so.
It's electric.
No, I'm not on drugs. God, I've been off of them for a while, and it's like they haven't left. I'm just kidding. I need to be serious or the people will think, yeah. Okay, so, anyway, we're gonna make this as fast as possible. I actually really did, lower down how much I wanted to talk about. Like, yeah, I have no idea. But yes, because I did that, I have a couple things that I want to talk about in my next video. And I get to give you guys a little sneak peek. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm going to give you a list of things I want to talk about. Alright, somebody's already going to comment and be like,
You've been talking for 3 minutes. Video starts at 3:20, bitches. Like my comment.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, we are going to talk about attachments. We are going to talk about expectations, and we are going to talk about how to kind of just deal with both, what is considered healthy and what is considered toxic. Toxic. The taste of your lips out. You're toxic as. Okay. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm a little bit just like sleep deprived. One of my last videos that I talked about, I explained that everything is temporary, even our body. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so with that being said, I'm kind of building blocks. I'm building off of that. Still keeping in mind that everything is temporary, okay? This world can... My upper lip is starting to sweat. Okay. This world cannot defeat you unless you give it purpose. I mean... Wrong word. I meant... permission. God, okay. Alright. Let me snap into character. I was gonna smack myself, but then I decided, I was like, no. Okay. But I'm sorry, I'm apologizing right now. I need to be serious right now. I haven't recorded a video in a while, so, we're back. On a serious note, okay, this world cannot defeat you unless you give it permission. So, There's really no other way to put that. Everything that happens in this life happens for a reason. It has a purpose, okay? Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, okay? Sometimes people like to miss the little lessons being learned. A lot of times people seem to think that you only learn things and you only develop into something, you blossom into something, you evolve into something through hard times. And that's not necessarily true. The reason why that's kind of a bad thing to only expect to grow, to educate yourself through hard experiences, is that everything happens for a reason. That includes the good stuff too. So if good things are happening in your life, but you're just kind of taking them for granted and not really, I'm sorry, that is going to get really annoying. The sun. I'll sit right here. So, what was I talking about? Oh, damn it. So if like you only are focusing on the good stuff that's happening to you or the bad stuff, so say you're only like, oh my god, only bad things happen to me, like my freaking parents have cancer, my freaking mom died, my cat got eaten by coyotes. Like if you only focus on the bad things, then everything's gonna look bad. Like everything is gonna look bad and your mind state is gonna be bad, everything is going to be negative. But if you only focus on the good things too and you don't focus on the negatives, like it has to be an equal, you know, the weight has to be equal on both sides. You can't just focus on the good, you can't just focus on the bad, because everything has a purpose. Okay? Am I kind of making sense? So, okay. People are in search for 3 things: happiness, fulfillment, and security. I'll repeat: happiness, fulfillment, and security. Those are the things we lust, we strive for, we pop out of the womb, and we are just on a roll to find those 3 things. But the only issue is where we point our direction of the little needle of the compass, where we point that, in hopes to find happiness, fulfillment, and security. One of the issues is that when you're standing there and you are holding the compass in your hand, and you are looking at where the needle is pointing, you don't understand that there's 2 sides to the needle and there's always a little arrow pointing right back at you. What is that to show you? It's not to show you, hey Sarah, suck it up, you gotta deal with this shit yourself. No, it's saying you have the ability to give yourself happiness, fulfillment, and security, but what we do as little earthlings is we look everywhere else for that. Okay, and I know I mentioned this in another video, but like I said, this is building blocks. Okay? So, where do we look for those things? We look for them in our careers. We look for them in money, wealth. We look for them in people, relationships, and emotions. Especially we look for them in our status quo. Okay, we reach our happiness by how many people know us, how many people retweet us, how many people open up our Snapchat, how many people screenshot some stupidness, okay? That's where we get our fulfillment and our happiness from, and sometimes even our security, because you know and you feel secured knowing that every time you post a picture of yourself being half naked and or in clothes, people will comment, people will like it, people will tell you how beautiful you are, people will fulfill yourself, bring you happiness, and you're seeking to them for that happiness. Now, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with relying on other people for your total happiness, total fulfillment, total security? Those people vanished. Did I not say in the beginning everything in this life is temporary? So think about it this way. I have a perfect example, all right? So the other day, I took a lift somewhere because my knees are still broken. I can't really drive. And this girl was talking to me, and we were just talking about, she was older than me. She was maybe like 24. And she was talking to me, we were just talking about our past relationships, and we had very, very similar experiences, okay? Years and years of fucking time and dedication and commitment placed into one single pea in a fucking pod, and everything was just shot, done, over with. So we were talking about that, and she was just telling me, okay, Sarah, so imagine this. Say the dude you were with, say you ended up getting married and having kids. But he isolated you from all of your friends. He hated when you would go hang out with your family. He hated when any friend would even hit up your phone. He hated if people at work wanted to hang out with you afterwards because you're his. He wants to spend all his time with you. So she was saying, so imagine this, Sarah, you're 36, whatever, you get married. He leaves. What are you left with? You're gonna have no friends. People at work aren't gonna like you because all of a sudden you wanna fit in. Like all of a sudden you wanna start caring about the people you work with, the people you spend more time with than that dude that's at home being selfish. You have nobody. Your family will be like, well, honey, that kind of sucks. And that's what happens when you pushed us away for some dude. And so she was just telling me, like, Sarah, this shit is temporary. It's especially, I think I want to put the focus on emotions and relationships because those are so important and those are something that kind of drives us and is just one of our not only focuses but on our list of priorities. It's up there. We are always focused on our significant other, our spouse, whoever the heck it is. We're always focused on them. Trying to make them happy, trying to find the middle ground for them. You're never solely focused on yourself. You know, you're always kind of splitting the attention 50-50. So when we look for all of those three things in wealth, status, relationships, jobs, we are unsuccessful. We are unsuccessful. And I have a quote right here. It goes along the lines of, when you try to dig at concrete with bare hands, not only do you come back with nothing, but you break your fingers in the process. So what is that kind of saying? When you're digging and you're looking for something and you're just freaking trying to get at it, whether that be happiness, fulfillment, security, you're digging at something you're digging at something that you are expecting to give back to you, but it is incapable of giving back anything to you. But you don't accept it. You don't see what's right in front of you. It's like you don't even notice you're digging at something that's eating your fingers away and grinding down to the bone because you are so focused on the return, on the prize you get back, on the fulfillment or happiness or security that block of concrete gives you, but it dead ass doesn't even have the ability to produce anything. But you keep digging at it and you keep expecting things. So this is where the expectations come into pictures. It's not about okay, so I'm not telling you that it's bad to have expectations. What I'm telling you is that you have to be careful where you place your expectations. If you place your expectation towards something that is unstable, something that is consistently changing, like a dude who loves you one day and then hates you the other, or wants to be your only one day but then has 3 other girls on his phone the next day, if you place any of your happiness in something that is a freaking roller coaster, your inner state is going to be a roller coaster. Because something that is always changing will always change inside of you. If you happen to find that one dude that isn't like that and just is, loves you all the time like he's supposed to, your expectations are fine. But you need to also, when you enter into a relationship, you need to make sure that your expectations are known up front. You say, like, this is what I'm expecting from this relationship. If you can't give that to me, then like, we part ways. You say whatever you need to say, and then you part ways. The reason why we put in all these expectations towards things, the reason why we rely on all of this stuff is because we're looking for one thing to have across our entire lives, and that's perfection. We want a perfect relationship, we want a perfect education, we want a perfect job, we want a perfect house, we just want a perfect life. We want what we see all over the place, okay? So we have expectations already going towards something that's fantasy, One of the number one things a individual living on earth should never do is lose hope. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you have to be very wise and be very, just aware of where you're putting your expectations and what will be the results. So the reason, like I was saying, why we strive for perfection is basically because that's where we come from. All right, we come from a state of perfection. No one really, put my hands down. I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm not even claiming to say that I know what, where we came from, how we came to be, whatever. But what I do know is that there is a state of perfection. There is a state of oneness, of infinite just consciousness that is all over fucking love, okay? There is a freaking paradise, okay? And that's where we originated from, at least in my opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. I'm not saying, what I believe is what it is. I'm not saying that, and I never claim to say that in any of my videos. I'm just saying that from my beliefs, we come from perfection, so that's in us. That's in just our natural being to want where we came from, okay? So we strive, we strive, we strive. We are looking for something like eternal happiness and eternal peace and eternal perfection somewhere where it's not. Okay, so this isn't heaven, this isn't paradise, this isn't a magical place. You know, when it comes down to it, all right? When it comes down to all the violence, all the guns, all the killings, all the shootings, everything, this isn't the best place there is. So why are we expecting it to be just this miracle world? Like, why are we expecting for only good things to happen, and then when bad things happen, we don't know what to do because we didn't expect for the bad? That's why you always hear this saying, expect for the worst or prepare for the worst. What is it? Oh, it's something, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, prepare for the worst. I don't know, you know, now it's not going to make sense, but it's the whole prepare for the worst, expect the best, expect the worst, prepare for the best. I don't know, okay, I fucked up. But it's that saying that I'm trying to get at. Yeah, I forgot what it is, but we are looking for that perfect fucking life, perfect place, perfect everything in a world that just isn't perfect. It can't, okay? We as humans cannot create miracles. We are not necessarily even in control of this life. We are in control of our actions, but we are not in control of how this world works. We can't even, if it came down to it, all of the science put together wouldn't be able to recreate a fly's wing if we tried to. We could make a fake one or a replica or a fucking hologram of one, but we do not even have the ability to do that. So why are we looking at everybody and expecting perfection if, like, we're only this, you know? We're only here, but we're expecting everything up here. Like, you know what I mean? So we do anything in attempt to hold on to our happiness, to our fulfillment, to our security. So we stay with people who are toxic. We stay at jobs we shouldn't stay at. You just stay in situations in hopes to hold on to something that you thrive for, that you love. You know, you put up with all of his bullshit or all of her bullshit because you want to hold on to that happiness that you guys once had. You know, you expect that to be the only way that person acts. You put your expectations almost too high for that person. So that's where we even go back to the whole, careful where you put your expectations. Everything is temporary, you guys, from emotions to freaking your status to everything. It's temporary. The humans in your life are temporary, so don't try to hold on to them. You need to understand that everybody and everything has a purpose in your life. So the good guy you meet has just as big of a purpose as the bad guy, but you have to make sure that you see and don't be blinded by love like a lot of people these days. Don't hold on to this false illusion that you have in your head. If you're still digging at that concrete block looking for perfection and you just can't find it. You just can't. Because it's not there. So you just need to move on. Accept it, move on. Like, take away your expectations for that person, for that individual, and just see something else. You know, go explore the world. Go do something. Like, there's way more things. So there's this term called dunya. I think that's how it's pronounced. D-U-N-Y-A. And it's kind of like earthly. It's possessions, like earthly materialistic possessions. It's like, and we're addicted to that. We look for dunya everywhere. We even, like, it's temporary things as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't know everything, but this is just from what I think I know.
Who am I again?
But no, I'm serious. But it's this dunya that we are all obsessed with. So if we try to live in dunya, it will break us. If we live through that, if we find all of our happiness, fulfillment, and security in all of these materialistic things, even people and emotions, if that's what we look for and that's what we have our expectations on to give us all of those things, it will kill us. It'll defeat us. It'll beat us down. It'll do everything. We have to stop trying to make dunya into something it's not, okay? earthly possessions and materialistic things will never give you the satisfaction that you're looking for. If you really want to be happy, if you really want to be quote unquote enlightened, if you want to just be at peace with yourself, if you want to be mellow all the freaking time, you just have to know how to work your expectations and know that everything has a purpose. So just because I'm heartbroken, okay, I'm sorry, I'm already talking for 22 minutes. Okay, anyway, but let me go through these real quick. So getting on to my point, something bad happens, okay? The good, the bad, the pain, the happiness, everything, like I keep saying, it has a purpose. So when you're broken or you feel pain, it's not telling you to run back to the source that put the pain and brokenness inside of you. It's telling you, yo, you need to stop, take a look at what's going on, and you need to be like, hey, so what is this purpose right now? What is the point of this situation? What do I need to take away from this? Because every time there is a pain, every time there's a red flag, there's red flags all over the place when it comes to relationships. Whenever there is just this spark of that intuition inside of you, your consciousness is just like, yo, dude, something is up. That's because emotional pain is a sign that you need to do some internal change, okay? So it's like a signal. It's a little buzzer. It's like that little game you used to play when you would poke the little tweezer inside of the guy and try to pick up the little objects and it'd zap you if you touched the edge. Yeah, it's just like that. When something bad is happening that's not supposed to, so when something's going wrong, when you reach in and something's supposed to be easy and you just take it out and that's it, if you bump into the edges and zink, 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 that's a sign you are in an unwanted territory. You are trespassing into an energy field that you do not need to be in, and you just need to back up. Back up, and that's it. All of it is a sign, and I know it hurts, it fucking does. I'm not sitting here acting like I've never been heartbroken, I've never been stepped on, I've never lost somebody. I'm not acting like that. I know how bad it hurts to end a relationship. I know how bad it is to be in love and then all of a sudden be shit on. I know what it's like to love a family member and then lose them. Like, I know what it's like. I promise I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm trying to just give you guys something to think about, okay? So this, back to the little pain thing that I was saying, is all of these attachments that we have. I'm telling you that these attachments, that's the number one thing I want to get clear in this video. Pain is a forced detachment from something you are attached to that you're not supposed to be. Like I said, it's a sign. So when I say it's a forced detachment, I'm saying something in your life, you know how I keep saying, like, I have this even theory sometimes that you already know how your life is going to be played out, but you forget about it when you get down here for the experience, you know, like, why not? But if you are in a relationship that you're not supposed to be in and things keep happening, you keep getting hurt and hurt and hurt, it's forcing you to get out of the situation, okay? If the dude doesn't stop screwing up or cheating on you or going behind your back, it's kind of like the world is saying, honey, wake up. You're not going to force the guy to even do anything that he doesn't want to do. Never force an individual to ever want something they don't want. Don't ever make somebody do something that they don't want. Just don't force anything. Like I told you guys already, control is not ours to have. And as I'm sitting here right now, I realize how fast I've been talking, and I'm sorry. Okay, great news is there's like a pause button or a replay button, but yes. Anyway, the things that cause the most pain are the biggest false attachments that you have. So there is this such thing as a false attachment, thinking that you're attached to something that you shouldn't be attached to. Okay? You think it gives you happiness, fulfillment, and security, but it doesn't. You have this false belief. You are in love with an illusion, and you believe it and you keep living it. You're in a dream in your head, but your reality doesn't even match the dream in your head, so you kind of look dumb. Oh, but we have this perfect relationship. Honey, do you see things that aren't just in your head? Do you listen to the voices that aren't just in your head, you know? It's like, and I know it's hard, you guys. I promise. I've been there. I have been there. It's just false. It's false hope. It's false love. It's false everything. It's false commitment, security, happiness, fulfillment. Those 3 words that are so important today. It's just fake, you know? It's just not, it's not real. There is this quote that I wanted to give you guys, because I know, like, I know a lot of people get tripped up on my religion. What am I not? What do I believe in? What do I not believe in? So that's why I kind of like to insert different things, whether that be, you guys, a lot of the times actually in books that I do read, it tells you that you should never rely on yourself, because even you yourself are temporary, and that the God, Allah, whoever, you want to call him, he is the one who created you. He is the all perfection. He is the home you strive to be at. He is the peace and fulfillment. He is the paradise that you look for, because he's who created you. So if you are religious, that's what it's saying, is to allow your expectations to only fall in the hands of God. Allow yourself to only be, talking to Allah at night. Don't cry up all night talking to a guy, that doesn't care for you. And in my opinion, I think it's okay to look up to that higher power, but I also think it's perfectly okay for you to have yourself, even though a bunch of things contradict that are religious, that say you don't even have yourself, you can't even trust yourself, you can only rely on God. I don't believe that. So in my book, I think that you can rely on your own happiness. Okay, so there's this quote from the Quran that just says, just in case we want to connect this to a religious aspect, it says, "Never will God change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves." That is 13:11. If you think I'm lying, go check it out yourself. But when it comes down to this, even look at it as either, verily, you will never change the condition of yourself until you change what is within yourself, or you can do it in the terms of God. Never will God change the condition of a person until they change what's in themselves. But still, it's still saying that whether or not God is in the picture or not, it's up to you to make the change in yourself in order for a higher power, a higher universe, a higher being to inflict, better things, whatever. I don't follow that whole trail. I love the whole, you will never change the condition of yourself, your life, your situation, your expectations until you change what is wrong within you. So you have to understand, it's not the outside that's putting me in these situations. I'm putting myself into these situations. I'm putting my trust heavily into somebody that doesn't have my best interests in hand. You are putting too high of expectations onto something that just it's just not going to work out. So being attached to emotions is something that we can't do. But then people will be like, but Sarah, how do you freaking not become attached to these emotions? Remember when I said dunya earlier? When I said dunya earlier, that means people, moments, places, emotions. Okay, all of those things, people, moments, places, emotions, those are all a part of dunya. Those are all earthly conditions, earthly things. You can only get here on earth. If you live through other people, through your emotions, through all of this stuff, you're chasing this false happiness, because all of that stuff is temporary. The people in your life are always temporary. The moments you are experiencing are always ever changing and are always never the same, okay? Your emotions. One day you're happy, the whole world is freaking just bright and warm. You're sad and oh my God, you can't get out of bed. Everything you think about changes in the blink of an eye, all depending on your mood, your emotion. It can't be like that. It can't be like that. Instead, you just have to see everything for it is. Look inside yourself and ask yourself, what is being shown to me right now? What am I supposed to take away from this? What am I supposed to learn? How will this help me evolve into a better being? How will this help me grow up? Okay, and again, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, all right? Expectations are just expecting life to be perfect, and life isn't perfect, okay? So the more you understand that, the less quick you are to put an expectation somewhere, the less you are to intensify that expectation. You just realize everything is temporary. So if I just walk this life understanding that and knowing that I need to be careful where I place my expectations, because in that moment, it's sudden, it's quick. You don't really think too much. You see a dude that in your heart you want to be with and he's saying, oh, I want to be with you. Your expectations just shoot up the roof because you like to believe what you hear. Remember that one video that I talked about the senses, how you always fucking rely on your senses no matter what. That's what gets you to make these expectations, to get all of these attachments, are relying on all these senses, relying on everything you hear. It's all connected. Unfocused expectations, it's just going to be unhappiness. Whether or not people want to admit it or not, that's just the way it is. Real quick, I'm sorry, this is going to be really quick. The last page that I have, this is literally the last little thing. I thought this was going to take longer, but I'm actually pretty proud of myself. So, how do I avoid wrong expectations? Sarah, how do I avoid them? You're telling me that don't put expectations, but how you say they happen so sudden, you say they happen just in the blink of an eye, so how do I avoid that? You avoid that by just taking into consideration and accepting the truth for what it is. It's by understanding that just because you have friends, you do not have to expect those friends to fill your emptiness. Like I said with the girl that I was in the lift with. When you put all of your expectations and all of your life, your well-being into your friends, and you expect your friends to fill your emptiness, and say they do. Say you have amazing friends and you can go to your friends for everything. What happens if something tragic was to happen to one of those people? What happens if they just decide to not be your friend anymore? They turn sideways and just do something stupid and you're like, hey, get out of here. What happens when that happens? Then you have nobody to fill your emptiness and you realize how lonely you are. And it's not because you're actually lonely, it's just because you didn't accept the fact that these people are just temporary. They're in your life for a moment, and if something happens, that's just life. That's what happens. It's not easy. It's not, it's not supposed to be perfect either, like we keep saying. So one of the number one things is, just because you have friends, do not expect them to fill your emptiness. Learn how to fill your emptiness by yourself. Learn how to go to yourself or turn to a journal. Write down your feelings. Don't keep them bottled up. Don't go to other people and expect them to fix things. And if they don't fix things, you're just worse off. You're more sad. You're more disappointed. Okay, with relationships, you cannot expect your significant other, your spouse, to fulfill your every single need. That's just not how it's supposed to be. If you can't even have friend time, if you can't have alone time, if you always have to be breathing the same air as that person, that's a toxic relationship. It may sound like some deep love, but it's not when you get down to it. You can't expect them to fulfill your every need. If you put those expectations into that person and you become attached to that person, not only will you become depressed because the thing you were so attached to, the only thing you knew, which was temporary, but you decided to trick yourself into believing that it was permanent. Once it's gone, your expectations are shot, the thing you were attached to is shot, and it's all just because you walked into the situation throwing your lifeless body into another person's hands. When their hands are only they can only do as much as you can, but you're expecting them to do the works of God or the works that you do to yourself. Honestly, I think it's impossible to find another human that will love you as much as you love yourself. You should be the number one person that you are in love with, basically, and that's not even some weird fetish. It's just love yourself. And then if somebody turns sideways on you, you're just like, hey, you're fake, goodbye. It's a good thing I realize now, and I didn't waste any more of my time. I didn't waste any more expectations. I didn't waste my energy being attached to something that's so temporary and fake. It's just like that. So just don't depend on people. You have to take what I say how you want to take it. I'm not just straight up saying, yo, fuck society, be by yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, understand what society is capable of, and don't be surprised when society acts a certain way. So if you want to, you can also say, don't depend on people, depend on God, depend on Allah, depend on a higher power, depend on yourself, Just don't depend on everyday people who don't really necessarily care about you as much as you think they do, So, yeah. Honestly, you have to just be careful where you put your expectations, whether that be with your job, with your bosses, with your friends, with your parents, with your boyfriend's parents, with your boyfriend, with your grandpa, with, the lady at the front desk of the bank. We are all humans. Everything is temporary. We are all in this little war in our head of just living life, okay? We are people who have become too attached to dunya, to just this earth life. We don't see that there's more to it. If something happens, people take it for granted, good or bad. There are some people who choose to not look at the bigger picture. You have to open up the message in the bottle to read the bottle. You can't just be stuck on how pretty the bottle is and not want to pop the cork. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to stop this video just because I've been talking for so freaking long. But I mean, I feel like it's okay because I haven't made a talking video in so long that maybe you guys won't, you know, slap me in my wrist and shit. I'm sorry, but yes. So just think about it. If your inner state is dependent on something that is ever changing and inconsistent, your inner state, meaning your happiness, your emotions, whatever you're feeling, will be ever changing and consistently inconsistent, okay? If your inner state is dependent on things that are like that, you will always feel restless. You'll always feel just anxious, and normally anxiety comes from when you're unsure. It's just you don't know what's gonna frickin' happen, and I promise you, anxiety is my last name. I know what it's like, you guys. I'm not even saying that. Everything I talk about, I live for 100%. It's about practice, practice, practice. It's about trying it, trying again, okay? It's hard to all of a sudden just not have expectations. It's hard to all of a sudden detach yourself from things you are so strongly attached to. Isn't it a beautiful thing that there's no such thing as time? You got all the time that you want. It's just practice, you guys, just with makeup. Practice makes perfect, all right? I just wanted to come on here. I woke up feeling good and was like, yo, it's time for a talking video. But, yeah. Anyway. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry it was long, even though I'm sorry I already told you I wasn't gonna say sorry for my long videos anymore. But, yes. So, I hope all of you guys enjoy today. Have a good day. If something bad happens today, just be happy that the sun will always rise tomorrow and you can try again. Like I said, try again. It's like use every single day as practice. Practice for something. Just don't take advantage of the time you have here. Use it wisely, okay? Educate yourself, teach yourself, ponder in your own head, okay? Build your energy inside of yourself and make it towards the good. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, in my next video, I did write down, like I said, I wrote down a couple things that I wanted to talk about. If you guys wanted me to make a video on this, the next video that would kind of attach to this one, I'll be talking about what is the good and bad in believing that the world is all good or just that the world is all bad, and how believing in one of those two, what the consequences are or what the good things are. Also, I want to talk about the notion of what is taken is always returned. So, like, a lot of people think, like, you know, something was taken from me and I'll never get it back. I wanted to really talk about that, and that can be with relationships, death, life, jobs, like pets, anything. Like, what is taken is returned, and I can make a video kind of talking about what I mean by that. Another thing that is very, very interesting that I want to talk about is the idea of looking beyond majestic beauty to see true beauty, okay? Personally and externally. Then, yeah, another little thing is just I could talk more on not missing the point in lessons, good or bad. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to do my best to edit it and get it up ASAP. And yeah, give you guys something to listen to on this fine morning. So, yes, this is a farewell from me, and I will be back and better. They still sleep, like, you know, they're used to it. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to me for... Every time I look at myself in the viewfinder, I'm like, oh shit. No, I'm just kidding. Love yourself. I need to go eat. You hear that? That's some strong fucking enamel. Alright, I'm sorry. This is going from 100 to 0 real quick.